Where your attention goes, energy flows. A common saying, one that you've probably heard many times by now. But have you also realized that where your energy flows, a reality shows? And no, this is not a Dr. Seuss quote, but it's the truth of how you're creating your reality. And the thing is, your attention is an invaluable, priceless commodity. And your life, even your sense of self and the world that you experience, is the product of your attention. And have you noticed how many people are wanting your attention? Have you noticed how many companies and corporations are willing to invest millions and billions to get your attention? That's how valuable your attention is. But how much value are you placing on your attention? Do you realize that your life, your reality, your sense of possibility, opportunity, and everything that you're experiencing is literally the effect and the product of where you've been placing your attention? Because that's determining where your energy is going. So this is one of the things that I want to talk about in this video, is unpacking and uncovering the truth about how you create your reality and what it means to consciously create your reality. And so the first thing is desire, because you don't experience anything apart from what you desire. In truth, everything in your reality and in your experience is only there because you have desired it. And this may be a bit of a hard pill to swallow, but it is the truth. Because no matter what your circumstance or situation is, within that, and also within the context of what's happened in your life, there has been a sort of self-concept that is formed. You can call it the ego, you can call it your sense of personality. It is the construct of your most familiar thoughts and feelings and beliefs. It is the repetition of the habits and the behaviors and the actions that you normally take, all of which is creating your reality, all of which is fundamentally built upon that ground of desire. And here's the thing. Sometimes, maybe often, we are desiring safety and security and survival over expansion, over whatever it is that we say we want. Because often what you say you want requires you to get out of your comfort zone, out of the familiar, out into the unknown. And there is uncertainty. There is unfamiliarity. There is potentially unsafety and insecurity. So then the desire that is leading to the reality that you say that you don't want is actually a desire for the familiar, the desire for being safe. And so this is why self-honesty is so important here, because when you earnestly, honestly uncover the desire that you must be having in order to create the experience of reality that you're most familiar with, that you are currently having, now you can actually work with it. Now you can redirect it. And so it doesn't matter what you want, whether you desire money, or whether you desire peace, whether you desire a partnership, whether you desire happiness, whether you desire fulfilling work, whether you desire a novel experience in life. If you're not looking out here or within here and experiencing that, it is because there is an ulterior motive. There is an ulterior desire which is conflicting and contradicting what you say you want. And so it's not simply enough to just say that I want this. That's why affirmations often don't work, because they're basically just coping with what you're already affirming in your energetic presence. Because what you're emanating in your consciousness as a vibrational quality, as your mood, as your attitude, as your thinking, as your feeling, as the way that you relate to yourself, is already fundamentally what you desire to maintain, right? And so then it's by desiring the expansion out of the familiar, disrupting that old frequency, that old pattern of self, that you now have the opportunity to get beyond the familiar, into the unknown. And this is where the next step comes in, which is intention. Because it's actually desire, intention, attention, and action that creates your reality. So I'm giving you a bit of a foreshadowing here, because with intention, it is that energy, the investment of your energy, the full declaration, and the full getting behind of that desire. You see, because when you come in contact with a desire and you investigate any contradicting or conflicting desires, now you have removed the paradoxical or the contradictory, mixed frequency within you. Now you can fully get behind your desire with your intention. And you see, this is where it directs your attention. So we're often, once we have a desire, trying to change a lot of our behaviors, trying to change a lot of our habits. And often this is futile and fruitless because we've not consciously set our intention. We're trying to overcompensate for something that we have not fully bought into by changing a whole bunch of things which are already, those habits, those actions, those behaviors are already congruent with the contradictory desire that has not become conscious. So this is where your intention is kind of the steering wheel that is directing your energy into aligned thoughts, aligned feelings, aligned actions, aligned behaviors, and aligned habits that are congruent with your desire. So intention is so critical. It's so key. It is the declaration that you are fully invested, energetically speaking, in the desire that you wish to experience. And so you have desire, which is born from the deepest place within you. It is emerging from your soul. It is not just a fleeting thought. It is not just a wishful thought, right? It is a deep burning spark of a desire of creation that you wish to manifest. And by that fact, you now are fully invested in it by virtue of your intention. Now, by virtue of your intention behind your desire, now your thoughts are congruent. You now attribute yourself to positive thoughts, right? You highlight those positive feelings. Now it's a bit easier to let go of and detach from those thoughts and feelings that are not congruent with that desire, because they'll still come up, but you're so committed to your desire that you're not going to be stopped just because some circumstance presents itself and fear arises, or some person has an opinion or a thought about what you're doing and now you slip into doubt, right? All of these things can happen, but by virtue of your intention, you are now fully invested in moving through that resistance, moving through that fear. That's the power of intention. And now your attention is on the prize. You see, your attention is fixated on the aim, which is the desire fulfilled, the desire manifest. And you see, the intention is first and foremost directed as your internal state of being. So when your attention is wholly on your consciousness, your state of being, your sense of self, and in the prioritization of the making congruent, making aligned that state of being with your desire here and now, you see, that's when you become unstoppable. Because when your entire attention is not on the future, not on a point on the horizon which you're hoping to achieve, but on the state of being which is aligned with that reality, then you already have what you want. And when you already experience that desire fulfilled within your state of being now as a feeling, as an energetic reality within yourself, you're fulfilled, you're content, you're satisfied, because that's actually what you're seeking underneath the manifestation to begin with. In that reality, in that version of yourself, whether it's money, a relationship, a certain fulfillment in work, there's a feeling underlying that makes all of that possible. And in fact, without that feeling, without that sense of self, no matter what you get, you will most likely sabotage it, undermine it, and destroy it without that sense of self. This is why most lottery winners, even if they become multimillionaires, very quickly they lose all the money because they have not become a millionaire. Financially speaking, they've made $1 million, let's say, but they have not become the version of themselves that is capable of holding and therefore having $1 million. So it's frittered away. It's wasted. It's leaked. And then everything reverts back to their self-concept of who they believe they are. So that's why it's so important for your attention to be on your state of being, your state of consciousness, and aligning your self-concept, the thoughts, the feelings, the actions, the beliefs, the behaviors with that desire being fulfilled here and now. And when that is your reality, your internal reality, you are no longer dependent on anything in your circumstance, anything in your reality, anything in your life situation changing in order for you to feel that. You are already in alignment with that internal feeling and reality. So you already have your desire fulfilled here and now. And when that is the case, the fourth and final key of action, inspired action, takes place. Because in that feeling of fulfillment, there is inspiration. You see, there is a stream of intelligence and intuition and inspiration which will lead you to action. It will move you into the momentum and into the movement of action. And any action that is inspired from the alignment of your intention with that desire is the path of least resistance to everything that you want and more. And so we're often taking our attention and placing it on the outcome, placing it on what's happening or what's working or what's not working, right? Expecting, insisting on the way that we think it should go, on how it should show up, on when and where, and et cetera, et cetera. That is a misuse of attention. Because again, when attention is on your state of being, you already have it. And when you already have it, you're not expecting it in that sense, not insisting on it in that sense. And therefore, it gets to unfold in the most intelligent, intuitive, aligned way possible. That's the adventure. That's what makes it playful. And that's what makes it the path of least resistance. Now you get to act on your inspiration and just allow life to unfold. And that is it, the 4 keys to consciously creating your reality. And this is one of the main premises of my Aligned Creator Blueprint. And this is one of the last days to get my Aligned Creator Blueprint on 25% discount, which now includes my custom designed, personalized AI guidance, which walks you through all of this to uncover the desire that you must be having to create your reality currently. Then the conscious desire that emerges out of that clarity, the intention, the attention, as habits, as practices that align you with that reality to lead to the inspired action to manifest that reality all around you. And so if you want to have access to this Aligned Creator Blueprint and my personalized AI guidance, comment creator down below and I'll send you a link where you can buy it now and you can save 25% for the next couple of days. This is going to be the cheapest it will ever be. This discount code is going to be expiring soon. So if you're wanting to explore this idea that I've talked about in more detail and read through my 50-page or so Aligned Creator Blueprint, then comment creator down below and I'll send you a link where you can access it now.